Hanan Mohammed is 22. Like other girls her age, she loves shopping and clothes, so what better job for her than working in a clothing store? Hanan has a developmental disability and limited use of her left arm, but these features do not constrain her work ethic or work attitude.
Basically what I've been doing is putting clouds and putting them in piles, and I actually like it.
Why do you like it?
It's fun.
Put all the similar colors together.
Dan Jansen is an Employment Services Coordinator with Solutions Employment, a division of Delta Community Living Society. Dan's been supporting Hanan's employment goals from the beginning, and with customized employment, it's support that goes beyond the norm.
It's not driven by the labor market, as more traditional job search process are. It's driven by the interests of the person served and the needs of the employer to create a mutually beneficial relationship.
In Hanan's case, it began with a visit to her home to meet her mother and learn about the kinds of things Hanan liked to do. Shopping was high on the list.
So we just went to the mall down the street that she likes to go there, and she shops with her mom and that type of thing. And we walked around a bit and just talked about stores and what some of the staff were doing and some of the jobs they were doing. And she kind of pointed that out to me and let me know some of her interests in that way.
From this, and from other activities they did together, Dan developed themes to guide Hanan's job search. Youth culture, children because she'd once assisted in a daycare, and routine and structure because Hanan prefers tasks that are familiar and repetitive. With the themes identified, Dan was able to prepare a vocational profile to take to prospective employers, more of a proposal than an application. The process involves spending time with employers to learn about the nature of their work and, in this case, where Hanan might be helpful, like freeing up existing staff for more complicated tasks. But sometimes there's no work. Sometimes the employer can't afford to take on more staff, even for only a few hours a week. And sometimes there's fear of the unknown. Dan and Hanan searched for almost 3 months, and sometimes they were discouraged, but they kept looking. And when they happened upon Hanan's current employer, they found gold.
Good morning.
Morning. How are you guys?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well today.
Good.
Hello, nice to see you. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? How's everything? I remember one day the door opened and there was Dan with Hanan, and they had these big smiles on their faces, and you know, I welcomed them. We started chatting. It just felt right. Something clicked. And when Dan mentioned that she was interested in work, there was no doubt in my mind that I would create a place for Hanan in my store.
Employers are motivated to hire a person with a disability for many reasons. For Nasa, it was just a good feeling, but it's also a good business decision, demonstrating inclusion and diversity.
Why did I just say wait?
You gotta think of it like you, right?
It's also evidence for staff that their employer will likely be sensitive to their own needs.
Yeah. Perfect.
NASA would like to see Hanan to start working independently more on her own. So in the next week or two, I'm probably going to be fading out a lot more and just checking in on her intermittently and making sure things are okay. And that'll be the start of the process of me actually fading out.
Did you give it a good job?
Yes.
And you had fun?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's take off your jacket. Oh, I've seen a lot of change in Hanan. She's a very different person. She is more happier, all around happier. Not just happy at home, but knowing that she has some place to go to and contribute. And then she takes me for lunch sometimes because she's able to meet other people. She's able to work and know that she can work. It makes her a well-rounded person.
I'm very happy from the bottom of my heart to have those people. It is part of my job.
The people at Delta Community Living Society are quick to say this approach is not for everyone. It's labor-intensive, time-consuming, and staff need special training. But for job seekers needing a more individualized approach, the stats from their 3-year demonstration suggest this works. And perhaps the best evidence is the smile on the faces of those who are now working. Are they all done now?
Yeah, they're all done.
Okay, what are you going to do next?
I'm gonna ask Nathan for more work. Because that's what my job is.